What is going on, everybody? We are back. I'm Tyler Melito, coming to you from the CitrusTV studio for the first show of the 2021-2022 school year, that being Beat the Bookie. The first time ever Beat the Bookie has been its own independent show on CitrusTV, so today is a big day, to say the least. Since this is the first show of the school year, let's look at how we have done so far here in 2021. Tom Russo, Pat Gunn, Cooper Boardman, Will Scott, Jacob Kronberg. That's it for all the guys who have been in the black so far, and they've all graduated. We move down the list. It gets worse and worse. Brad Klein, Owen Valentine, and myself. Yikes. Not great at all. $199 in the red in total. I'm down $115.91 in my Beat the Bookie career. The worst amongst all hosts in the show's history, and I was told by our executive producer, Calvin Cristoforo, that we have a little montage of my time here on the show. I got a bad feeling about this. I have not seen this video yet, so let's just play it, get it over with, and just drive the knife into my heart a little bit more.
This has a really good chance of hitting and at least making a small profit, so let's put $15 down on that. Give me $10 on the Zags for cover. At plus 300 to be the first non-QB drafted, let's put $15 down on that one. I really like that bet. Put a nice $10 bet on the Zags, winning by 17 to 20 points at plus 500. A high-risk bet because the expectation is the winners will get blown out of proportion, but also a very high reward.
Hey, no one's perfect. Like Hannah Montana once said, I spent the summer reading up on how to gamble. I think today's going to be a great day. Let's stop focusing on the past. Let's focus on the present. We got $100 in the bank account, so let's get right to our big games of the week. Let's start with my lock of the week, Clemson versus Georgia, the number 3 team in the country versus the number 5. This is said to be the game that will have the biggest impact on the college football playoff all season, and we're just here in week 1. JT Daniels in his first season under center for Georgia was solid, completing over 67% of his passes for a little bit more than 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns, and just 2 interceptions. Look for him to take a big step in year 2 of Kirby Smart's system. Zamir White is back carrying the rock for the Bulldogs as well, and after a year where he had nearly 800 yards and 11 touchdowns, Georgia just produces running backs. It's great. They also have a secret weapon, if you will, in former Clemson defensive back Darion Kendrick starting against his former team. But I'm not going to go with Georgia, though. I'm going with Clemson. DJ Uiagalelei lit it up in limited action during his freshman year. Now he gets to run the show, and I am excited to see what the Heisman frontrunner does. Clemson also has one of the best defenses in the country, and one of the best defensive linemen in the country, in sophomore Brian Bresee, who I think will come up big stopping Georgia's run game. The return of Justin Ross will have a massive impact as well. Tiger offense playing at home. The spread is only at 3 points. I think Clemson will win by more than that, covering it. So at minus 110, lock it in. Let's put $20 down on that one. Jumping over to the Big Ten, number 12 Wisconsin plays host to number 19 Penn State. The Nittany Lion money line is at plus 190. Sean Clifford is the better quarterback in this game, in my opinion. But more importantly, star running back Noah Cain is back. Cain injured himself on the first drive of Penn State's first game in 2020. He's an elite talent who has the PSU backfield all to his own. I think Cain could have a massive impact and could ultimately be the deciding factor, so let's put $10 on the money line for Penn State. Final one of our big games. Although I really think Miami is going to be good this year, they are number 14 for a reason after all. De'Ara King is a dark horse for the Heisman. They could be a potential ACC winner if they can upset Clemson. But Alabama has an insanely good team all the way around. I know, shocking, right? So for this bet, I am going to take a different approach. I'm going to go with the over-under on the score. It is set at 61. I'm going to take the over at minus 105. Although Alabama has an insanely good defense on paper, I think they could start slow, allowing King and that Hurricane offense to get out to a fast start, grow a big early lead, and that will force Bryce Young in his first collegiate game, or first collegiate start, who is making he's just so good. He'll have to make that comeback, meaning points on the board in theory. This game could be a really high-scoring one, so let's throw another $10 down on that one. Now to the team who is a part of the biggest headline of the college football offseason, that being Texas. My ride or die. They rank 21st in the country, and they play host to number 23 team in the nation, the Ragin' Cajuns of Louisiana. Before we get into this, thoughts and prayers go out to all the people who are suffering from Hurricane Ida. We hope that you all get through this. But as mentioned, Texas is my ride or die. Sure, Louisiana is playing with some extra motivation given recent events, and they have some talent on their team. The Cajuns have missed a few days of practice, which certainly doesn't help things. The Longhorns just have the overall advantage. Steve Sarkisian has something to prove in his first game at UT. True freshman Hudson Card was named the starter, replacing Sam Ehlinger, who's now in the NFL. And overall, I just think Texas is going to blow out the Raging Cajuns, so they'll cover the 9-point spread at -110. Drop another $10 down on that one. Back to the Big Ten. Number 17, Indiana. Number 18, Iowa. Michael Penix Jr. is back for Indiana, and boy, should the Hoosiers be happy about that. Penix was electric for IU, throwing for over 1,600 yards, 14 TDs, and 4 INTs before a season-ending knee injury against Maryland. My one concern is that he will start slow against the Hawkeyes. That is why I'm going with Iowa. Not only are they playing at home with one of the best home field advantages in Big Ten and maybe all of college football, but they have a really strong defense on all levels. Iowa has the all-time advantage against Indiana at 45, 28, and 4, and winners of the last 7 of 8 games against the Hoosiers at -175. Throw $10 in favor of Iowa. Tonight in the Rose Bowl, we got a great game. Number 16, LSU, taking on the already 1-0 UCLA. I know, Chip Kelly's got a winning record in UCLA, folks. I don't think it's going to last, though. Last week, the Bruins rushed for 244 yards against Hawaii, where Dorian Thompson-Robinson was limited, completing just 50% of his passes, albeit that game was a blowout. DTR is going to have to throw the ball much more and much more precisely against the Tigers. Coach O for LSU says that the team's accommodations in Houston since they left Baton Rouge right before Hurricane Ida made landfall have been great. So you'd think that works in their favor. The Tigers need a bounce-back season after the dud in 2020. Max Johnson is relatively inexperienced for LSU, but he can absolutely sling it. At least that's what I heard from my friend who goes to the school all summer long. LSU has an elite defense, which I think will be enough to get them the win. At -140, throw $10 down on that one. Everyone loves a good underdog. Heck, I'm the underdog in this one to get into the black for today's show. But here's our underdog of the week. Michigan is unranked to start the season for the first time under Jim Harbaugh, so you think they will come out guns a-blazing in week 1. It will not be easy, however. Against the Broncos of Western Michigan, just an hour and a half apart, these two teams, this game will have a little something extra to it. The spread is set at 16.5 in favor of the Wolverines. Michigan is good, but not that good. The determining factor for me will be under center. Cade McNamara has just 71 pass attempts in his career for Michigan. Caleb Ellaby has 300 for the Broncos. That means I'm going with Western Michigan at -110. Throw $10 on that for them to cover. Now for the game you have never heard of, or at least I assume. Southern Miss representing the Conference USA traverses South Alabama of the Sun Belt Conference. These two teams have played just once, that being last season with South Alabama coming out on top 32-21. I am not, however, going with the Jaguars, rather than the Golden Eagles of Southern Miss. Although they are the underdogs at +100, they do have someone who I think is worth paying close attention to. That being the son of future Hall of Famer Frank Gore and Frank Gore Jr. In his freshman season, Gore put up solid numbers, rushing for a shade over 700 yards and 2 TDs on 121 carries, an average about 5.9 yards per carry. I would not be shocked if his game takes a massive leap, being that he has a year of experience under his belt and won't be dealing with a COVID training camp like he did in 2020. So at +100, give me Southern Miss money line at $10. Final bet of the day, we got a good one. We got ourselves a parlay. Now, since 2021, since Calvin Cristoforo and Braden Reed took over this show, we are 0-17 in parlays, but let's turn that around. It's a simple one. It involves the Conference of Champions, according to Bill Walden, in the Pac-12. First, Nevada has to go into California Memorial Stadium and beat Cal. Then you have Arizona overcoming the odds against BYU at home and win. Finally, in the late night game, Washington State has to take care of business against Utah State. The Arizona win scares me, being that they are 12.5-point dogs, but it would not be Beat the Bookie, and it would not be me on Beat the Bookie if I didn't take a parlay with very low odds of hitting. So +1,300 to hit, throw $10 down, and win a possible $130. We're using William Hill Sportsbook, and this is actually a boosted parlay from +1140 to +1,300, meaning more money in the bank, right? So to recap, we got ourselves Clemson as our lock of the week versus Georgia to cover the -3 spread. Then you got Penn State money line at +190 over Wisconsin. Alabama, Miami going over the 61-point total. Texas, Louisiana, I got Texas covering the spread at home, -9. Indiana, Iowa, I got Iowa money line at -175. UCLA, LSU, I got LSU in that one. That's going to be probably a game that I'm really going to enjoy watching. Let's be real here. Michigan, Western Michigan as my dog of the week. Western Michigan covering the 16.5-point spread. Game you never heard of. Southern Miss, South Alabama. I got Southern Miss and the Golden Eagles pulling it out on the money line +100. And then our parlay, Nevada, Arizona, Washington State, all winning at plus 1,300 and ultimately make me a boatload of money. That is all the time we have on this edition of Beat the Bookie. For all of us here at Citrus TV, I'm Tyler Melito. Enjoy your Saturday and happy betting.